Good morning, everyone. This is Julie at the Creative Camper Soaps. I'm here to do a question and answer. You guys sent your questions in, and those of you that did, I thank you very much, and you will be entered into a drawing, which I'm going to do in just a little bit here. But let's get on to some of these questions that you guys asked. The first question I'm going to answer is, how and why did you get started making soap? So back in, I think it was 2015, I discovered that I had a very intense reaction to chemicals in the soap and shampoos that I was using. I wasn't sure exactly at the time what it was. I was having headaches, I was having heart palpitations, I was having like a brain fogginess where it took me a while, like I was trying to process my answers and it took me a while to get them out. Went camping and they disappeared. All my symptoms disappeared, and went home and got in the shower after a long camping trip, and immediately after my shower, my symptoms were back. So at that time, my husband was like, what did you do? What did you do different right now? And I just took a shower. Well, we started looking up all the ingredients that were in the shampoo that I was using, because I was using a different one while camping compared to the one that I use at home. So looking up all these ingredients and finding out that yes, a lot of those ingredients do cause the exact symptoms that I was having. So I discontinued using it, and I started making my own. And so I started making my own liquid at that time, like liquid shampoo, and I would use that as both my body wash and my shampoo. I made my own deodorants, I made my own lotions, I made my own everything. Since then, I don't make my own lotions anymore. I found a lotion that doesn't have the ingredients in it that are bad for me. Same with deodorant, which has made my life easier because it's a lot of work, and because since then I've also moved into an RV. I'm a very creative person. I love to do different things. I've probably done it all. I've crocheted, I've sewed, I've done a lot of different things, and so soap is always something that I wanted to do. So I decided one year that I was gonna get started. I had a friend that was interested in it as well, but as it turned out, we didn't do it together. She wasn't able to join in the venture, so I went ahead and thought, I'm gonna make soap as Christmas gifts. And I started in October, and I made the soap, and I had so much fun making them and being creative. And so I gave them out as Christmas gifts to my family. I'm sure they were just like, oh, this is just another one of the Julie things, she's into something else now, because that was pretty much how things were. I get into something and get into a kick, and so, but I love it so much. And I thought, well, how can I do this? I can't just keep making soap because it's just gonna pile up. But if I could sell it, then I can continue to use my creativity and to continue doing what I want to do. So that's how I got into soap making. So it said, my next question is, do you make liquid soap? Well, I have made liquid soap in the past, like I had just said, but I don't do it anymore. The ingredients and the things that I need, like the containers and stuff that I need, is a little too much for living in an RV. So right now we're on the border being too much, and I cannot add any more to it. So no, I do not make liquid soap. Not to mention, you can't be creative with liquid soap. It's just adding ingredients. So there's no creativity involved. What's the best bar for super sensitive skin? Well, this is a loaded question, because what's the best bar for one person is not going to necessarily be the best bar for somebody else. The best bar for me is the bar that doesn't have all the chemicals in it. If you're allergic to nuts, the best bar for you is going to be something that doesn't have nuts in it. And almost all of my soap has sweet almond oil in it. So that wouldn't be great for somebody that's allergic to nuts. I actually do have a bar coming out. I'm going to release it today that is almond free. So that's a new thing, but it was quite by accident, and it turned out really great. So maybe that's something I'll continue. But if you're sensitive to fragrances, your best bar for you is going to be a bar that doesn't have a fragrance in it. If you're sensitive to like strawberries or something, you're not going to want to use one of my fragrance bars that has a strawberry oil in it, a strawberry fragrance oil in it, because sometimes a lot of things are derived from their natural element. Sometimes not, but sometimes it is. So that is my answer to that. You got to know your skin, and you got to know what you're sensitive to, and you need to plan according to that. Okay, what's my least favorite bar that I have made? My least favorite bar was last year. I attempted to make a birthday bar. I'm going to attempt it again this summer for my birthday. But I was thinking birthday cake, and I'm thinking piping, and I'm thinking, well, a birthday cake doesn't have piping all the way across it. It's just on the edges, right? So that's how I did the soap. But when you cut the soap like that, it just doesn't look great. Not only that, but the fragrance oil had a high vanillin content, which turned my colors brown. So it really was an ugly bar of soap, and it just did not turn out how I wanted it to turn out. So I believe I gave those away free with orders. It was pretty bad. I shouldn't even have done that. Probably should have just thrown it away, but it's hard to throw stuff away. What is my favorite scent? Oh my gosh. All right, I have a lot of favorite scents. Sometimes it's by the week. I love black tea. I love bergamot, and I love the honey oat. It's just very natural and very warm, and so I think those are my favorites. I love Love Spell in the shower. So I think that those ones are probably my most favorite ones. And on the same line, because this was also asked, what was my least favorite fragrance? I'm not too much into florals, so I like rose, the smell of it, but not so much in my soap. I don't want to smell like it. So I think like the rose fragrance or something like that, I don't care for. Oh, and I made this soap just this week. The fragrance oil was called Dragon's Blood. And I don't know why it reminded me of something. There's something in it that kind of brings back like some sort of memory, and it must not be good. I can't quite figure out what it is, but I just don't like it. So I wasn't very pleased with that. But a lot of people love that fragrance. So, what one person doesn't like, another will. So that is that. What are your most and least favorite parts of making? So my most favorite part of making is being creative. I love being able to get a vision in my head and try to translate that into the soap. My least favorite part is when that doesn't work out. So, sometimes you just don't know what you're going to get. You plan on something and a fragrance changes the color, or the color's just more for, and you don't know. But that's also something I like about it. It's exciting. You don't know how something's going to turn out. That adds an element of excitement to it, but it also can add some disappointment to it. Another least favorite part of soap making would be labeling. I don't like to label. It's just a thing I wish I could just pass off to somebody else, but I can't at this point. So labeling would definitely be one of my least favorites. I think that's about it. Where do you source your fragrances from? So I have used a lot of different fragrance companies before I finally settled on one that I am pleased with. Number one, my fragrances have to be, I hope I say this word right, phthalate free, which means they're free of a chemical that is often used in plastics and in our soaps and shampoos. I think what it does for soaps and shampoos is helps the fragrance last longer. But for me, they have to be free of that chemical. And I've landed on a company that I am very pleased with. They always show me what that number one, that it's chemical free, and also that it shows me the safe usage that the IFRA has set up, which is, the IFRA is the International Fragrance Association, and they give you safety guidelines on how much you should use of certain fragrances. Not every fragrance is the same. Some are safer to use more of, some are safer to use less of, and some of them are not even okay for soaps. So it always lets me know, what is body safe, what is okay to use. So I go with that company, and they also give me the notes of my fragrances, the top, middle, and bottom, which makes it easier for me to describe the fragrances when I'm selling them. Also, a little bit more on IFRA and why I don't use fragrance oil, or essential oils. Essential oils are great. I use them at home. I think of them more like medicine. They are not regulated by the FDA. I don't think that really says a lot, but I think that they're not regulated, though, is cause for concern. They do interact with people's medications, and I can't be responsible to know what they interact with and what they don't. And because they're so volatile, I don't use them in my soap. So I do use fragrance oils instead of essential oils. And the IFRA they promote the safe usage of fragrance oils, and they'll take fragrance oils off the market. Like, if they deem them not safe, they'll remove them. I don't have I'm not an aromatherapist. I don't know, as far as essential oils, what interacts with what, and it's just something I just don't want to be responsible for, so I don't use them in my soaps. I don't know if there's a whole lot more to say about that, so I'm gonna leave that there. Where does your inspiration for soap come from? So sometimes my own brain, just like little ideas I think about. Sometimes something I see, or a soap that somebody else creates, I might get inspired by that. From nature, I see things and I see the colors, and I think, oh my gosh, I'd love to try to duplicate that. Not always successful with that, but I could try. It's fun to try. Also, color palettes. I love color palettes, and using them to mix colors up and do that. So that's where my inspiration comes from. How do you make cactus soap? Okay, cactus soap is part molds. So like the cactus shapes that you see, almost all of those are molds that I pour the cold process soap into, and the rest of it is piping. So I'll choose a few colors. It depends on which one I'm doing. Like today I'm going to release a more natural cactus soap with more natural colors. So it depends on what colors I'm using according to what color piping I'm using. But usually I'll do a couple different piping colors just to fill it in. What's your least favorite soap scent? Okay, I already did that one. What is your favorite bar? Oh my gosh, my favorite bar is the one that I'm doing. So, no, really, I do have some favorites. I do usually cover those on Creator's Choice and Instagram. I've made a bergamot swirl that I will keep making because I love how the colors combine. It's real simple, but I love it. And but mostly, anytime I get an idea in my head and I want to execute that idea, that's my favorite soap at the time. So that changes continuously. Oh, I have the same one. What's your most favorite soap to make? Same question. So that was asked a couple times. Are some soaps better for skin than others? I think I answered that. It kind of depends on who you are. I love my honey oat bar. It's very soothing. It has real raw honey in it, and it has colloidal oatmeal, organic oatmeal in it. So I love that. I've been using that a lot this week. I love my rose clay soap for my face. It does not have any added fragrance in it. Rose clay is known to to draw moisture. So I've been using that. I haven't gotten into a good moisturizing routine just because I'm scared to, when I go to try new things, I might have a reaction. So I'm getting older. I do need to start that, like have a nice moisturizing routine. But right now I'm just using the rose clay soap on my face. The other thing it says this for a second part was, are some soaps better for skin than others, or do they treat eczema or specific issues like eczema? I cannot, I'm licensed. I'm licensed to make soap, and I am insured. I have all my business stuff done. I cannot make claims like cures eczema. I have to be really, really careful. Otherwise, I could be targeted by the FDA. So I cannot tell you that, oh, one soap is better for eczema. I do have a Bear Bar that doesn't have anything in it except for the oil, not fragrance oils, but just my oils that I use to make the soap. But there again, if you're allergic to almond oil, the Bear Bar soap is not going to be for you. If that's part of your eczema issue, I don't know. It depends on what works best. I would say if you have eczema, I probably wouldn't want to use a fragrance bar at all. I would probably want to use something that's not fragranced, and maybe even something that helps to moisturize. So then you just need to do your research and figure out what ingredients moisturize. Oatmeal, how about honey? I mean, is that good for eczema? I don't know. But that might be a good bar. So that's that. I cannot say, and I cannot make those claims. I'm not allowed to. How long does one soap last with everyday use? It's a great question. It's kind of hard to gauge. My soap bars last me about 2 weeks if I'm the only one using them. We have like 3 different soap bars, or 3 or 4 different soap bars right now in my shower because we all like something different. And they last about 2 weeks. It also depends on how many times you shower a day. If my 13-year-old sometimes showers more than once a day, so his soap bars don't last as long. And how long your showers are. We live in an RV, so our hot water doesn't last that long, so technically our showers are not as long as other people's. I did notice that my honey oat bar does not last as long as other bars, and that's just because it has natural honey in it, and it's not as hard of a bar as the rest of the soaps are. So I hope those answer your questions. Anytime you guys have questions, feel free to ask. It was fun to finally do a question and answer. Nobody really asks. I've been doing YouTube videos, hoping to get more interaction. It's not really working out that way. I hope you guys like the YouTube videos. I don't know. They're a lot of work, and just not sure how those are working out. So, but it's almost 9 o'clock, and I'm going to be getting ready to do the drawing for all of you that helped me with this video. Thank you very much. Have a great day.